Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to show you guys my everyday kind of eyebrow routine, or when I'm trying to quickly do my makeup just for everyday look, versus when I'm going full on glam and I'm going like highlight, contour, and all that eyebrow look. I get a lot of questions about my eyebrows all the time, and one of the main questions is how can you do this every day, and like how much time does it take? So I wanted to kind of address that question with this tutorial. So the first answer is no, I do not do this every day. Like, I don't do the glam eyebrow every day. Most of the time I look like this, so I have no eyebrows on, well, besides the little eyebrows I was born with. I normally don't do eyebrows every day, but when I'm going somewhere and I need to quickly do my makeup, I do have a kind of like everyday eyebrow or a quick eyebrow look. So I'm just going to show you guys the difference. I do have a somewhat updated eyebrow routine on my channel. When I talked about the NYX eyebrow gel, I kind of showed you guys how I use it because there was a lot of hate going on with this product, so I want to kind of show you guys how I personally use it and why I love it so much. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. It's kind of the same routine for the glam side. Before I get into my eyebrow tutorial, I want to share with you guys, this video is sponsored by Measurable Difference. I am collaborating with them to do a giveaway. So I'm going to be giving away one of their Measurable Difference 16 Shade Pro Concealer Palettes. This giveaway is only for Instagram. So here are the rules. You must follow Measurable Difference, you must follow me, and you must like the picture for this tutorial and tag 3 of your friends down below. This contest will only last for 5 days. So from today, 5 days later, I will leave the date down below and everything down below for you guys with the rules and everything for you guys to enter. And today I'm going to be using their Measurable Difference, and this is the 6 Cream Contour Palette. This is the palette I use all the time for my eyebrows. Yeah, so if you guys want to win the 16 shade concealer palette, go ahead and check out my Instagram and follow the rules, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. Okay guys, so the first eyebrow I'm going to show you is the Glam eyebrow. It's the eyebrow I use for all my makeup tutorials. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the NYX eyebrow gel, and this is in the color Espresso. And I am going to take a little bit of this and apply this into like this old foundation case, because this stuff really do like stay on, like for real. So when I put it on the back of my hand, it's a little bit harder to wipe off. And this is supposed to be waterproof, long lasting, and smudge proof. So that's one reason why I love using it, and that's another reason why it's a little bit harder to wipe off if you just try to use like soap and water. You have to use a makeup wipe. So I'm just brushing my eyebrows into the place where I want them to be. And the brush that I'm using is this IT Cosmetics, and this is a little thin angle brush that has a spoolie on one end. And the other 2 brushes I'm going to be using is a angle brush, which is just a regular thick angle brush, and a smudge brush. I really love this brush. I have no idea who these brushes are by, but if you have brushes that are similar, you can obviously just use whatever you have. You don't have to get the same brush as I do. I do love this brush from IT Cosmetics because it's really, really thin. So you can really make those really nice brush strokes. Ugh, I can't talk today. So the first thing I'm going to do is dip into this product, and this product dries pretty fast. So you want to be a little bit quick with this eyebrow gel. So I make sure I put some on my brush, and then I'm going to go underneath and drag that out just underneath, and I brush upward to blend out that line. Then I take it on an angle, and I'm just doing like little brush strokes to mimic hairs right here in the front. I never really make a square. I'm just doing like as if there's some hairs there. I'm going to finish the tail, just doing underneath the bottom part of the eyebrow. Then I'm going to come up here where the arch is, and I'm going to start right here And I'm going to go down, and this is the part that I fill in the most, is the end of the eyebrow. And I always make sure my eyebrows don't pass up the edge of my eye hair, because you don't want it to have too long. You always want to make sure it's nice and natural looking. And in the same process, I'm just going to be brushing in that product to make sure it's not too thick. And so I'm going to come a little bit in front of where my arch is and just kind of fill that in just a little bit using light strokes, nothing too much. And I'm also going to brush that in. So I'm going to come right here in the front and just using little light strokes to fill in those missing spaces. And I'm just barely adding anything to the front of my eyebrow. I really don't want to add any product up there, so I just barely add anything. And then I'm just going to clean up the rest of the eyebrow. So usually that's all I do. And then I just kind of brush it and make sure everything is filled. Just like that. So I do keep makeup wipes on deck because I like to clean my brush throughout each application for each eye, because you don't want the product to build up, because the product can build up on the brush. So I just gently just take that old product off to keep my brush nice and clean. So for the next step, I take the color Embark by MAC. And I know this is a little bit red, but for some reason it works out. It kind of tones down once it's applied, and there's a hair on my eye. Once it's applied and everything is nice and smooth together, I take the bigger brush, angle brush, and I just kind of go from the tail down to kind of fill it in. I don't know why I do this. I just like the fullness that it makes my eyebrows look, and it helps kind of get any like little spaces that was left. And I just add a little bit to the front, and I make sure that the edges of my eyebrows, like here and at the top, is nice and done. And then I come back and I brush that out. So another brush I like to use is this flat like concealer brush. And once again, I have no idea where I got this brush from. It's a really cheap brush, but I just like it for the simple purpose that it is flat and I can use this to do my concealer. The next thing I do is to clean up my eyebrows. So I'm going to take my Measurable Difference, and this is the 6 Cream Contour Palette. I really love this palette because these shades match my skin tone perfectly. So I'm going to take this shade here and I mix it with the darker shade here. And I'm going to use that to clean up the top of my eyebrow only. So for this eyebrow, I just come all the way to the front, going all the way down to the tail, just cleaning that up. And then I kind of blend out the edges of the concealer with the same brush. And then for the bottom of the eyebrow, I take this lighter shade here, most of the time just by itself, and I place that underneath. And then I usually just kind of brush the edges of this concealer out also. And the reason why I use a lighter one is because I'm going to place a primer or concealer on my lid when I do this eyebrow to do the makeup look. So I usually don't really mind doing a lighter concealer here. And it also just adds a bit of like cleaniness to the eyebrow. It just makes the eyebrow pop a lot more for these looks, so that's why I like to use the lighter one. Then comes the smudge brush. I usually just take this one and just hit all the concealer, the outer edges of the concealer, and just blend this concealer out, because obviously you just don't want a chunk of concealer right there. So I do the same thing here, blend out these edges and everything just to make everything nice and smooth. And that's it. That's it for basically the glam side of the eyebrow. It's really easy, really simple. So for the everyday kind of eyebrow look, I'm just going to take this angle brush and the MAC and Bark powder. And the first thing I like to do is go ahead and brush my eyebrow in the place that it needs to be. So for this one, I do like to use a primer because I'm just using shadow. On the other one, I don't really use primer because the eyebrow, the gel, it kind of locks and mattifies. So I use a little bit of primer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is the Makeup Forever base mattifying primer. So I just use a tiny bit of that just in my eyebrow after I brush it into place. This will keep the powder nice and matte and keep my eyebrow in place. So then I take that powder and I start just like how I start on the other one, underneath the eyebrow. And going to the tail. And then I still go up with it, but nice and gentle. And then I do the same thing at the top, but I don't go to the front really at all. I just stay kind of right here in the middle, and I just come across. And I'm just gonna go ahead and brush the tail in. And I just kind of take whatever's left on the brush and I fill in the eyebrow here. I don't really go to the front. I just kind of use whatever's left to kind of just clean everything up. That's literally it. Like, that's what I usually do. Then I take this brush, the spoolie, and I kind of just blend everything into my eyebrow to make sure everything looks good. For concealer, I do sometimes clean it up because sometimes I do mess up my eyebrow when I do this. So I'm going to take this concealer here mixed with the darker one again. And the difference is this time I use more of the darker concealer because I want it to be as close to my skin tone as possible, because sometimes I wear this eyebrow with no makeup, so I don't want to look like I have any makeup on. And I start right here in the middle of my eyebrow, and I just bring that down. I don't necessarily go to the front of my eyebrow because I want to keep it as natural as possible. And as you can see, the concealer match a little bit better than the other one. And if it's a little too light, I go back into that dark concealer and I just go over it just to kind of cover it a little bit. And then I go into the two darkest shades again. And that's what I use for underneath the eyebrow. And once again, I kind of just go under the whole thing here. So I'm going to take that same buffing brush and I just blend out the concealer. But with this eyebrow, I want to really blend out this concealer, because especially if I don't wear any makeup, I don't want it to be like concealer and then eyebrow. So I really try to buff it out. And then I'll usually just take like a foundation brush and kind of just go over it just to kind of blend out the edges of that if I'm not wearing any makeup. But if I do wear like a light foundation, you won't see the concealer, you won't see anything because it'll cover it up. And that's the same thing on this side. So that's it, guys. You can see the difference between the two eyebrows. One is a more natural, fresh look, and the other one's more just that Instagram drama, sharp eyebrow. So I hope that kind of answers some of you guys' questions on my eyebrow kind of routine, or do I do this eyebrow every day? And no, it does take a little bit more time to do, especially both eyebrows, and to make them look the same. So it's a little bit harder and it takes a little bit more time versus this one. I just put some powder, then conceal, and then I can just go about my day. Yeah. And also, guys, don't forget to enter into the giveaway. It's only going to last for 5 days. You'll get the 16 shade concealer pro palette, and it will have the same, if not similar, colors to the one that I have. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.